If the Sat is pure existence, the Chit is the pure consciousness. It is not just the consciousness, it's also the force. In my dream state, I can become anything. I can fly, I can go to another place because it is not bound by the form. It is more with the energy. When I go to the deep state, I don't even remember my name, I don't remember who I am, I don't know what it is, the place, complete cut off. This is a state we say that I am existent and non-existent. The English word is creation, which is not at all used in Vedas.
Namaste viewers. For somebody who has just initiated their spiritual journey of knowing self at a deeper level, the most commonly heard term or word is consciousness, isn't it? Where is this consciousness? How do we explore this? How do we experience this? Is this something that we already have within ourselves that we have to understand at a deeper level? Or is it something that we have to invoke from the external source? Let's ask this from an expert. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Namaste.
We have Dr. Nagendra, sir, with us, who is a Vedic scholar and a medical doctor. Sir, what is consciousness?
See, this is a very common term what we use, consciousness, and one of the most difficult one to describe for two reasons. One is the vastness of the consciousness itself. As we grow on, it keeps on expanding and then revealing more and more. The second is limitation of the language itself. It's so difficult to explain in any language, not just the English or anything. So we'll try to see this consciousness as an experience from two ends. That's one from the Supreme, from the Vedic point of view, what Veda calls or what we are deciphering from that. And then we'll also try to see from our point of view, from the human point of view. So from the point of the Supreme, we need to understand where Veda starts from. It says something about Tat. Tat is that. So even the famous Gayatri mantra starts with Tat Saviturvarenyam. So that Tat is that. So what is that we mean here is, it is both existence and non-existence. That's a supreme, that's a absolute. That's a reference point. What we call it as beyond. Beyond is which I am not able to reach or I am striving towards that. So this is the reference point and we cannot describe this. This is the Tat. From this Tat, it starts with the Sat. Sat is the existence in its pure form. The existence as it is. Now we have the physical existence. It's not the, when we say pure, it doesn't mean that it is adulterated. So we'll come back to that. The Sat is the pure existence. Now this Tat, that has got three attributes. This is Sat, Chit, Ananda. So I think we can have a separate session on Satchidananda itself. So that's one way we can get in there. For today's discussion on the consciousness, this Sat is not yet manifested, but it starts knowing itself, becomes conscious of itself. That aspect of the existence becoming conscious of itself is the consciousness or the Chit. That's the purest form. If the Sat is pure existence, the Chit is the pure consciousness. It is not just the consciousness, it's also the force. It's because it needs to act. It comes together. So that Vedic terminology is Chit Tapas or the consciousness force. Now we'll see that this is the highest consciousness, and then there is another attribute is Ananda, the pure bliss. When we say pure bliss, which is not bound by anything outside. All our pain and pleasure are relative. Whereas here when we say for the Tat, the Sat, Chit, Ananda, existence, consciousness and Ananda are the three attributes of that. These are not three different planes. This is where we are heading to. Now this consciousness will start manifesting. The English word is creation, which is not at all used in Vedas. It is called Srishti. Srishti is it start flowing. It is unfolding. It is manifesting. It is expressing. Creation is something you take out of nothing. So there is nothing called as nothing. So that's a paradox. So now you see that it is the Tat in the form of Sat. It is still existence not manifested. And then it start manifesting. This field of manifestation is called Mahatloka. Mahas. This is all the sadhana of from below upwards is towards this Maharloka, or it is also called in Upanishad is called as Mahas. In Veda it is called Swara Loka or the Surya Loka.
Okay.
This is the, or in today's terminology it is also called as a Vijnanamaya Kosha. It's a bridge between lower three realms and the higher three. Higher three Sachidananda.
Okay.
Now we'll park this aside. We'll come down to how we perceive consciousness.
Right.
So this is a reference where we are getting into.
Okay.
Now this consciousness is, as I think in the few last episodes we discussed about the three realms of lower, Anna,
Yes.
Prana, Mana. The physical and the vital or the functional and then the mental. These three are the, it's like quite well established within us in the evolution.
Right.
Now as we say evolution going from below upwards, what I was told in the beginning is involution. That is coming from above downwards. That's the involution. It has happened completely and it has become the matter.
Right.
That's how the Veda looks at the involution part. Now we are in the phase of evolution, evolving from the matter, that's the physical, then it comes, the life comes out, and then from then the mind, and then mind is growing now towards the Vijnanamaya, the higher aspects of the mind. So for the consciousness, there is consciousness at every plane. There is a physical consciousness, there is a vital consciousness, mental consciousness, and higher consciousness goes on. And below the physical also there is subconscious and then unconscious. So to explain it in or make it very simple way, we can call from the medical aspect of it. Somebody is not responding in a hospital, we call it as unconscious. Even it's very common to see somebody all of a sudden they become blank. They said I became unconscious. What do they mean by that? There the term unconscious is I am not aware of the physical things happening outside.
Yes.
That's only confined to the physical aspects. Whereas rest of the things will remain same. They can also get into some kind of a imagination inside. The mind will be everything. But they are not connected with the physical things. This is the physical consciousness we are calling. If the unconsciousness is prolonged in the hospital, we call coma.
Yeah.
So we think as doctors, or even you know it very well when you heal that, many people, we work unconsciously, or we call it as, when we do unconsciously, the other term that we use is mechanical. You are not involved in that. That means involution is not happening. You're not getting involved. Once that is done, you have to evolve. So these two are happening. So now this physical consciousness, now it is starting coming up. So another way of looking at it, this is conscious, unconscious. There is another term, subconscious. I think in your healing you would have done many times the hypnotic therapy also. That hypnosis is the most superficial of the subconscious. We touch only the surface of the subconscious. Because most of our experience, what we go, it goes to the subconscious level. And most of our behavior will be based on the subconsciousness within us or in that plane, what is throwing out. Okay, now how do I experience this? So this experience is in a daily life, we call it as avasthatraya. That is the Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti. When we are awake, it's Jagrata. Now we are awake and we are Jagrata. And then we go to when we go to the sleep, there are two phases. We go to the dream state and then we go to the deep sleep. So these we can take it as a three conscious level. These are different ways of looking at it. Okay, now when do you say it is I am Jagrata? That means my body is active, my vital, the functioning aspect is active, and then my mind is also active. So these three are happening. Now when I go to the sleep, there are two. Medically we call it as a rapid eye movement sleep, where there will be REM sleep is where there will be dream state. We can see the dream, and in that phase we can actually remember the dreams also. There only the mental aspect is there, but we cut off from the physical aspect. The physical consciousness is taken back. But when you get up from the dream state, you will remember all those things, whatever that's happening. Whatever that I couldn't do in my waking state, I can go there and then I can start in that consciousness. I'm able to fulfill that. So that is the consciousness of there is the physical aspect is cut off. In the physical body, in the physical plane, the form is more dominant, energy is secondary. It takes the matter as a form, it takes a form, which is called rupa. That is the form is predominant. Whereas when you go beyond the physical, in the vital world, the energy is dominant, the form is more fluid. So why it is important is, in my dream state, I can become anything. I can fly, I can go to another place, because it is not bound by the form. It is more with the energy. But you cannot make out the clarity of the faces in the dream state. Because there, you see somebody and you make out this is the person, this is the place. You don't have to put an effort.
True.
And then it goes to deep state. Deep state of sleep is Sushupti, where even the mind is calm.
Yeah.
There you don't remember anything. So this is the most of our healing when we say medically or whatever it is, a pranic healing, anything, most of the healing happens during this phase because my identity with the physical body and the vital is cut off.
Yeah.
When I go to the deep state, I don't even remember my name, I don't remember who I am, I don't know what it is, the place, complete cut off. This is a state we say that I'm existent and non-existent both.
Yeah.
Now when I come out of the deep state of sleep, then I feel very happy.
Yeah.
Say that, now I'm very fresh.
Yes.
But who actually got that freshness? Then we have that the one is behind that who is experiencing this.
Yeah.
Now all our sadhana is toward that self.
Okay.
That self is experiencing this awake state, the dream state, and the sushupti or the phase of where there is a complete cut off from the mind aspect. Now there is fourth state in Veda, what they call it as Turiyavastha,
Yeah.
where you have to go beyond that.
Yes.
There is no name for that. It's called fourth state.
Yeah.
Why? Because there you are sleeping but awake. Like there is a happiness of the sleep,
Yeah.
and then you are actually enjoying it, awake. So this is the state we are heading into. Those who are in the initial stages of the sadhana, that is where we get into that phase. So maybe I'll just pause here if you have any question or anything. Say
Yeah,
it.
I was just wondering, so many layers to understand consciousness. I think all this while we were just sticking to that fancy spiritual aspect that we all experience when we are in, probably at times in that meditative state, but so many layers of experiencing this and always with our whole being throughout the experience. Never knew about this. This is so beautiful. Doctor, there is a term called Chetana that is used in the Vedic philosophy. So does that help us understand the nature of consciousness at a deeper level from the Vedic context, or is it both one and the same?
We can take it as both as the same. The Chetana is the Chaitanya.
Okay.
That is a consciousness. From the Chit, Chit becomes Chaitanya.
Okay.
But unless we understand this aspect of that, if we go with only few words, then it becomes difficult. We can stick to one word, not necessarily English or Sanskrit or anything.
Okay.
Because the consciousness by itself is nothing. Then you cannot name it, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
If consciousness is easy to connect, use that word.
Okay.
If the Chaitanya is easy to connect, be with that. Or there is an experience which can go easily.
Right.
Now you see, we should not be too much getting worried with the what do we call that
Yeah.
and how it goes on.
Yeah.
So now the other aspect of it is when we say evolution, we are evolving from there and going towards that Vijnanamaya Kosha. Why are we going? Because the same involution, the Satchidananda aspect of it is already in the involution, is in the matter. Now it wants to go home.
Yeah.
Now it's wandering here and then it's what? That's
Yes.
what we are trying to do. All the way sadhana that is done is going back home.
So whether consciously or unconsciously, all of us are doing it.
Yes, it is bound to happen naturally. How from the matter the life came out, from the life the mind came out, from mind it is going to the higher mental consciousness, it goes on. But this is a very, very slow process. It
Yeah.
takes thousands of millions of years. Now what we are doing is through the yoga sadhana, or what we are calling it as this tapas, we are only shortening the time. Then we are going ahead of that and then trying to reach. This is the play that we call it as the Leela in all our Shastras, where we have the joy of going to that because we are divine within, but in the potential form.
Right.
Now this potential form is going to reach the highest form.
So when you become conscious of this consciousness, it's going to be so much more beautiful and blissful. Beautiful. Doctor, is it safe for me to say by practicing intense meditation or yoga or any other spiritual practices, we can have a stronger influence on the consciousness that we are exploring at different dimensions that you just explained?
Definitely, these are the ways. Just like a very superficial term for consciousness is awareness.
Right.
I become aware.
Yeah.
Generally what we call, I am aware of this. Okay. So the more technical and the deeper word is the consciousness. Consciousness is a plane. It's like I'm getting access to that.
Yeah.
Just like in an office, you have an access card. Depending on which capacity you are in, either you can access only to the lobby, or if you're a guest, just in the reception and come out. Or if you are an employee, you will have certain access, and if you are a manager and above, you will have higher access. Now this is what this getting my access to that, and also my opening to that. It's a two-way process. I am opening to that so that it is also coming in. It's a door should be open. If I am not open, it may come and I ignore it.
Yeah.
So these are the important aspects when you get.
That was a very good example for us to understand the access part. Thank you. Now, there are some sophisticated terms for a layman which goes along with the word consciousness, which could be samadhi or turiya or purusha, prakriti. Is it important for us to know these terms, at least at a subtle level, to understand consciousness better, or is it not necessary? We can have an independent, as you said initially, do not cling to the word, just go with whatever suits you. So, or is it that as we explore deeper, we will also get to know about these experiences, but it's not necessary that we know these specific terms about it? Or is it advisable that we know a little bit about these terms, if you would want to express that to the viewers?
I would recommend to know at least some basic terms, like things like Jagrata, Swapna, and then sleep, deep sleep.
Okay.
So we can translate to our own language, whichever language it's comfortable. Not necessarily that you should through Turiya Avastha. You can say it's a fourth state.
Okay.
Simple. To that extent, what the human mind can conceive.
Yeah.
Or you can say there's something absolute. So that's a reference point rather than naming it as something very highest or anything. So this will help me to guide what next.
Yeah.
Once we reach to that level, your experience will guide what it is. The whole concept of Sanatana Dharma is, it's an individual sadhana. We start doing, continue doing that. And then at some point of view, the Guru will take us to a certain point only. The Shastras will guide for some time only, where the mantras will take you to some level. From there, it is the individual who will take up higher and higher. And of course, there is a definite component of the divine grace. The highest one, we should come down, because in the evolution, we have not yet reached to the level where I can climb upwards. When I say, because there is still that I-ness in that. Now that comes with the total surrender. I think that the terminology is something like a keyword, something like surrender. We can take it sometime. That will be very interesting.
Definitely, probably in the next episode, yes. Doctor, now understanding this from the Vedic context again, now if somebody has just started learning about the Vedic scriptures and the Vedic philosophy, is it possible that there are some simple experiences or explanations that can help us climb up this ladder? Or do we have to have this basic foundation of understanding these terminologies first and then dive in? Or is it a step-by-step process that can lead us through this and make it a very easy transition? What is your take on this?
This depends on the each swabhava of the individual, the nature. If somebody wants to have the Jnana Marga, then he will definitely get into all these aspects of it. Somebody who is in the Karma Marga, something like I do my sincere work and from there it goes on, he will also experience the same. Or somebody in the Bhakti Marga, complete devotion. You say that is what the Vaishnava Parampara is made, all the Dasa Sahitya talks about that. Complete surrender to the divinity, and then you take it, I am just an instrument. But at some point of time, there should be merger of all the three, Jnana, Bhakti and Karma. Because it is not just the going upwards, you reach the higher consciousness, come back to the same physical plane and start working. The whole idea of today is, now it is that's called integral yoga. It is not just going higher and then getting liberation from this. I think that itself is a good topic to discuss on, what is liberation or a mukti. Because that era is gone now. Now I get the complete, detached from these things. Now I get a clarity of that vastness. I bring that consciousness completely down to within me and then work here. Now you see the big difference you make here. That's what we see when we get this evolved souls. Even their presence make a big difference. Why is it? Because the consciousness in which they are living, that the moment they come, they can easily penetrate within us.
Absolutely. I think anybody and everybody can experience that around such people.
Yes. The other way is also true. If there is something hostile, and then if they are not with a good conscious or in the same mode, we can easily feel that repulsive forces. That easily happens.
Beautiful. Doctor, thank you so much. Your insights not just encourage us to understand these things at a deeper level, but I've heard from a lot of people posting their comments that this makes them feel it's not too complicated. We can definitely start. We can initiate. This is not just for people who are scholars or who've been practicing it for many years. So thank you so much once again for your time and insights. Dear viewers, we are going to explore more about these basic terminologies and concepts of the Vedic philosophy in our coming episodes. If you like this episode, do share it with your loved ones and kindly post your comments, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. I'll see you again in the next episode. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor.